So you're tuned in maybe because you've been feeling something in your shoulder,
Yeah.
or you're just curious about keeping things healthy.
Right, and today we're digging into a really common one, shoulder impingement syndrome.
Impingement syndrome. Okay.
Yeah.
So what exactly is that in simple terms?
Well, think of the space inside your shoulder joint. Impingement happens when that space narrows.
Narrows and things get squashed in there.
Exactly. You've got tendons, those cord-like things connecting muscle to bone, and little cushions called bursa. When the space tightens, they get pinched, basically.
Ouch. And that causes the pain.
Yes, that pinching leads to friction, inflammation, and yeah, the pain you might feel. Our sources suggest it can happen because of maybe small bone growth someone's born with, or more often, it's about the muscles.
How so? Like weak muscles.
Weak or tight muscles, yeah. Sometimes even tiny calcium bits building up from overuse. It throws off how the shoulder moves.
Okay, and I've heard posture's a big deal here too, like slouching.
Oh, absolutely. While bone structure can play a small part for some everyday posture, that kind of forward head turtleneck thing or rounded shoulders directly shrinks that critical space in the joint.
Right, right. So what's the main giveaway? If someone listening thinks, maybe that's me, what would they probably notice first?
The classic sign, really, is pain when you lift your arm out to the side, usually in a specific arc, somewhere between, say, 90 and 120 degrees.
Like reaching up to a high shelf.
Exactly that motion. It's where that space is naturally tightest. And sometimes, though not always, people might even hear or feel a little click or like a thumping sound during that movement.
A thumping sound. Interesting. And this isn't just about shoulder pain, is it? I read it can sort of spread.
Yeah, it's kind of a domino effect sometimes. What starts in the shoulder, believe it or not, can sometimes affect things like knee joint movement or even your overall balance.
Wow, really? Balance.
It seems so, according to the sources. Plus, ongoing impingement significantly raises the risk of developing frozen shoulder later on.
Which is much worse, right? More severe
Right.
stiffness.
Definitely. Frozen shoulder involves major stiffness and pain. The way it progresses is, well, that constant rubbing from impingement can start to damage the rotator cuff muscles.
The rotator cuff. Those are the muscles that help you actually move your arm around.
Precisely. They stabilize and move the shoulder. If they get damaged, it creates instability, which can then irritate other joints, like near the shoulder blade. Scapular spondylosis is mentioned. And that whole chain reaction can eventually lead to that really significant stiffness of a frozen shoulder.
Okay, so dealing with it early sounds pretty crucial. And the sources we looked at really pushed exercise, didn't they?
Yes, exercise is fundamental. It's not just about managing pain, it's about strengthening the supporting muscles, improving your posture, and potentially creating a bit more space in there.
So what kind of exercises are we talking about? Anything specific?
Yeah, a few were highlighted. Simple things like arm circles start small if it hurts, obviously. Then movements focusing on the shoulder blades, the scapula, like pinching them together gently and relaxing.
Good for posture, I bet.
Exactly. And there's one called the TWTY exercise. You basically stand facing a wall and trace those letters TWTY with your arms. It hits the rotator cuff muscles from different angles.
TWTY. Okay. Anything else?
A gentle stretch for the upper back muscles, like the trapezius. You might hold on to something with one hand and gently lean away, stretching across the shoulder and neck area with the other arm guiding.
Those sound manageable. But it's not just about doing specific exercises for a few minutes a day, is it? Daily habits must count too.
Oh, for sure. Consistent, general exercise and just being mindful of your posture all day long are huge. The sources even suggest doing posture checks with someone, maybe, for accountability.
Like a posture buddy?
Kinda, yeah. And they mentioned some interesting cues like earrings and bananas on the waist.
Earrings and bananas. What does that even mean?
Haha. Yeah, the source didn't detail it fully, but they're likely metaphors, like visual reminders. Maybe earrings means keeping your earlobes aligned over your shoulders, not jutting forward. And bananas on the waist. Perhaps engaging your core gently, keeping your lower back neutral. Mental cues for good alignment.
Interesting. Okay, one last thing, sleep. Lots of people wonder how to sleep when something hurts. What did the sources say about shoulder impingement and sleep positions?
It's a tricky one, as the best position can depend on the individual's specific muscle tightness or joint condition. But the general recommendation is trying to sleep flat on your back, maybe with the arms supported by a pillow.
What about side sleeping?
Side sleeping can be okay, but only if you can stretch the affected arm out comfortably without causing pain. If it hurts, don't do it.
And stomach sleeping?
That's a definite no-go, according to the sources. It puts a lot of strain on both your neck and your shoulders. Best avoid it if you have shoulder issues.
Right. Okay, so let's recap quickly. Shoulder impingement. That space in the shoulder narrows, tendons and stuff get pinched, causing pain, especially when lifting your arm. You can lead to bigger problems like frozen shoulder if ignored.
Right.
But the good news is that specific exercises, general good posture, and maybe adjusting how you sleep can really help manage it.
Exactly. Awareness and proactive steps are key.
So, here's a thought to leave you with. Just for today, pay a little extra attention. How are you sitting right now? How do you reach for things? Could making a small tweak to your posture, or maybe trying one of those simple arm circles later, actually make a difference to how your shoulders feel down the road? Something to consider for your long-term comfort.